Complete English course. Want to learn faster? Check the description below for extra resources. Welcome, viewers and Nexo, to this grammar class about how questions.
Hi, Emma. I am ready to learn how questions.
First, I will show the lesson structure. Theory. We learn the basic rules.
Examples. We see clear sentences.
Quiz. You choose the correct option. Nexo. Are you ready to begin?
Yes, I am ready.
Now we start with the theory.
Great. I will listen carefully.
Meaning of how. How starts a question about a way, a state, a number, or an amount. Example. How are you? Example. How do you cook rice? Put how at the beginning of the question. Example. How is the soup? Example. How does the dog run? How with be. Use how with am, is, or are to ask about a state or feeling. Example. How are the children? Example. How is the cat? Example. How am I today? The basic order is how plus be plus subject. Example. How is your mother? Example. How are your shoes? How with do and does. Use how with do or does to ask about actions in the present. Example. How do you open the door? Example. How does the bird fly? Use do with I, you, we, and they. Example. How do you draw a tree? Example. How do they play tennis? Use does with he, she, and it. Example. How does she make tea? Example. How does it work? How plus adjective. Use how plus an adjective to ask about age, size, speed, or distance. Example. How old is the baby? Example. How big is the box? Example. How far is the park? After how plus adjective, use normal question order. Example. How tall is the tree? Example. How fast does the train go? How many and how much? Use how many to ask about a number of countable things. Example. How many apples are there? Example. How many books do you have? Use how much to ask about an amount or a price. Example. How much water is in the glass? Example. How much is this shirt? Good work with the theory.
Now I want to see examples.
Perfect. Examples will make how questions clear. How are your parents? How is the pizza? How do you ride a bike? How does the teacher write? How old is your sister? How tall is the building? How far is the beach? How fast is the car? How many chairs are in the room? How many oranges do you want? How much milk is in the bottle? How much is the ticket? How is the weather today? How do they clean the floor? How big is the elephant? The examples are complete.
I can see the pattern now.
Great. Let us start the quiz. Choose an option. How? How are you? Choose an option. How is? How is the soup? Choose an option. How are? How are the birds? Choose an option. How do? How do you make coffee? Choose an option. How does. How does he open the window? Choose an option. How old? How old is the boy? Choose an option. How tall? How tall is the man? Choose an option. How far? How far is the school? Choose an option. How many? How many pencils are on the desk? Choose an option. How much? How much sugar is in the bowl? Choose an option. How much? How much is the red bag? Choose an option. How fast? How fast does the horse run? Good job. You completed the class.
Thank you, Emma.
See you in the next lesson.